What is up, guys? Welcome back. I'm Kevin Crates. If you guys are new here, this is the channel where we go over 5 charts every day, always starting off with Bitcoin, looking at Ethereum next. Today we'll be looking at Cake, AXS, and SLP, and as always, we will be checking in on the Kumo Cloud for all of these charts. Market is looking green today, guys. Everything is feeling bullish, and we're going to dive into it deeper to see if that is the case. If you guys were following my previous videos, though, price action is pretty much going exactly how we talked about. I just want to preface everything by saying that, again, guys, I'm not bearish on crypto. I know I may come off that way sometimes, but I think you guys should know a little bit of my background as a trader. I started trading about a decade ago, and my first exposure to the financial markets was not crypto. My first exposure to learn trading and how to be profitable was actually in penny stocks. The thing about penny stocks is you can get very similar returns to crypto, and I'll actually show you guys just this quick article here called "The 7 Most Successful Penny Stocks in History." So, I mean, you can look this up yourself. There's, companies like Monster Energy. Here's one here. So take a look at this. September 2005, shares were trading as low as $2 a share. Fast forward 10 years later, and Monster hits an all-time high of $140 per share in 2015. That's a 7,000% increase. Talk about Monster Energy. Since then, the stock has never dropped below $40 per share. So I just wanted to show you guys that so you get an idea of the similar nature in terms of the extreme volatility of penny stocks and crypto. On top of that, just real quick to note, I had to learn an entire new language coming into crypto a while ago. It wasn't there's certain words in crypto that you don't learn as a trader in other markets, and they are words like hodl. Buy the dip, it depends, but generally it's more you don't want to be the one holding the bag. Don't get attached to the story. Don't trust your emotion. Trust the charts. Look for the setup. Cut your losses short. It's not buy the dip is not what you learn as a trader in other markets. You learn to cut the losses short so you can let your wins run big. So as I transitioned into crypto, I'm very bullish on the long-term potential of crypto, but as I transitioned as a trader into crypto, I needed to look into what some of these words like hodl meant. I obviously knew it meant hold. However, I wanted to know why it was said the way it was. And this was the very first video that I watched in regards to hodl.
It is not hodl. That sounds really stupid. It's hodl.
HODL, the most important acronym in the Bitcoin vernacular. It means hold on for dear life, no matter how tempting the day trade might be.
I'm holding all these Bitcoins till they're nearly unstable.
And the poster child for hodling?
One paw to another.
You guessed it.
You buy on the dip and hodl. Okay.
Do you have to use that intonation with a deep, low voice at the end?
Unlike other Bitcoin millionaires who cashed in their staggering returns for Lambos and yachts,
We call traders.
Crypto Kid keeps his paws off his windfall altogether, believing the price of Bitcoin will skyrocket in the years to come and eventually replace traditional currency.
Everybody thinks they're a genius because they put in $100 and it went up to $1,000. You may have just got lucky. If you can hold on to that $1,000 or make it grow for the next 10 years, then you're a genius.
In fact, Justin hodls so hard, he's even found a way to avoid rent.
I sold all of my stuff, moved into the most frugal living environment I could.
A treehouse.
Yeah. There is
So I've got no beef with the crypto kid and his approach to the game. And if your approach to the game as well is to live in your treehouse with your billions of dollars, by all means do it, and I'm rooting for you to win. However, I may sound bearish at times, but my background in learning how to approach the financial markets was always to look at it with strict discipline, look for entries, look for exits, and look for investment opportunities. However, if I come off bearish compared to the general rhetoric in the crypto space, I just want to make it clear that I'm not bearish on crypto, guys. So before we dive into today's charts, guys, I want to have a closer look at AXS, tell you guys a little bit about this project since I've been following it for a while. If you've had no exposure to Axie Infinity, it is something that I suggest you dive into, and I will help you guys kind of get a base understanding of what this is today. If you guys follow me on Twitter, you know I've talked about NFTs, play to earn NFTs, and in my opinion, DeFi and NFTs with use case, as in NFTs for play to earn projects, in my opinion, will be leading crypto mass adoption, and at the moment very clearly are. As the market's kind of moved into the stagnant position, I moved most of my focus towards DeFi and NFTs with use case. And that's a very important distinction to make, because there's a lot of NFTs out there with absolutely no use. If you come here to CoinGecko, in the past 14 days, AXS is up 417%. So what is Axes? I want to show you guys this article as well. Axie Infinity nears $100 million weekly sales in NFT domination. If you want to come over here to the Axie marketplace, this is a live marketplace where it's just, you can see here, it's refreshing, just constant sales. This one's $2,051 recently listed. These are the sales on this side. It is just a booming NFT project where you can earn money taking part in this project every day that you log in and play on your Axie Infinity account. I've also queued up one more clip here for you guys. I'm not going to play this whole video. It's about 20 minutes long. It's called Play to Earn NFT Gaming in the Philippines. If you guys want to look it up, I'll leave the link down in the description below. But I just wanted to give you guys a short introduction into what Axes is. In the future, we'll probably do a video on all the different Play to Earn NFT projects I've kind of dived into over the last few months. But if you want to see the potential, if you want to see where Play to Earn NFTs could go, Axie is the place to start looking. So I just wanted to give you guys a quick peek at this documentary here.
I think I will tell someone that this Axie Infinity is fun game. You actually pet the Axie, and by playing this game, you actually earn some tokens in game, and you can sell it in cryptocurrency, and then cryptocurrency to a real money.
At first look, it looks easy because there's a cute Axie, innocent look Axies, but when you're in the game, it's like playing chess. It's a strategic game.
This is actually the first game that I heard, which is Play to Earn.
So I'll leave the description down below, guys, or I'll leave the link down in the description below for you guys. If you guys want to watch the whole thing, I suggest you do. I'll probably tweet it out as well. If you guys aren't following me on Twitter, KevinCrates_. And but yeah, I'm not going to spend too much time anymore on this, guys. If you guys want to look into that, I suggest you do. But let's just dive into the charts. All right, guys, so looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum as always to start off. We're going to start off with Ethereum since they're both moving exactly how we talked about in our previous videos. We talked about 35 kind of being the cap in this push, 36 at most for Bitcoin. Same with Ethereum. We said that it could go towards 2,500, but it was showing signs in the Ichimoku Cloud, which I'll pull up right now for you guys. And you can still see that pressure coming from the Kumo Cloud down towards price action. It does have room to kind of push towards 2,500, but I don't think it's going to quite get there. The stochastic RSI is also high. Let's go back to the basic chart real quick. There we go. So where is price action headed in the next few days here? So we're going to focus on Ethereum still to get that answer, because in my opinion, this is still an Ethereum-led pump due to the testnet that is ending today. I know some of you guys reminded me that sometimes I say London hard fork when I just mean testnet. I'm still pretty sure. I've tried to look it up just in case I am wrong, but this is an article on Yahoo Finance from about 10 hours ago talking about the Gorelli testnet, which already finished, and the Rinkeby testnet set to launch at some time on July 7th. I believe the testnet goes off today. However, the actual mainnet of the London hard fork has been set for now for later August. So there should be a drop in price after today. All of this has been a lead up to today's testnet. We talked about if Ethereum could push towards 2,500, but because of that Kumo Cloud and the Ichimoku Cloud indicator, it does not look like it'll make it all the way up to here. We figured it would kind of fizzle out here, which it's actually doing. And it looks like in the coming days, I would imagine it to go back here, kind of test that 2,200 support. From there, I'm still looking at the price targets for Ethereum to come down to about 1987 on this moving average. And then if that is hit, depending on what happens with Bitcoin, since in this scenario, I mean, in my opinion, what's been going on with Bitcoin is that there is this downtrend, and I feel that the downtrend on the RSI is more real than this very slight uptrend. We'll get to a point in the next week where we will figure out if it's going up or down. However, all of this is a very weak looking Bitcoin. And the only reason it's been kind of being held up in this range, in my opinion, is because of the Ethereum testnet. So taking that into account, as Ethereum starts to pull back, you should see Bitcoin start to dip. As Ethereum it already is losing steam, right? There isn't much going to push it after today. So it did cap out around where we said. We said at the most 2,500, but it looked like it would lose steam around here because of the Kumo Cloud. So as 2,200 is approached, I would start looking to get an entry around 1987 potentially. However, if 1987 doesn't hold, it all depends on Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin goes lower, I would imagine 1,700 is possible for Ethereum, and potentially even 1,500 is my long-term target for Ethereum. And again, not bearish on crypto. I'm just talking about, by long-term, I mean next few weeks maybe, or maybe even earlier. So looking at Bitcoin, my price target still remains around 32K. I think as today kind of ends, we should start to see the dumping start tomorrow. Bitcoin barely even pushed to 35. I mean, my original targets were kind of up here, but it's not showing that it's got any gas left to push that high up. So 3,600 at most, 36,000 at most. And then if it comes down to 35, it's kind of capped around there. It looks like this will be the height of the push. I would look for it to start to work its way down to 3,200, and we're going to have to wait and see how it reacts to 3,200. But I've been saying for about a week now, price target for Bitcoin is 3,200, and how it approaches there, it most likely, in my opinion, will go back down below 30,000. I mean, when we see price action dip below crucial supports like this, that's usually an indicator for me to get out. Not in this case with crypto. However, if this was any other altcoin, if it kind of lost a crucial support and didn't show enough life to push back up, it's only a matter of time before 30,000 is tested again. And then, things could get pretty dicey from there. And when we look at the Kumo Cloud or the Ichimoku Cloud, so looking at the Ichimoku Cloud, and again, guys, this is called the Kumo Cloud. The indicator is called the Ichimoku. I interchange them. If I say the wrong one, I'm sorry. You guys just want to, don't worry about it too much, but just if you want to know the actual technical terms, this is called the Ichimoku Cloud. When you are above it, you go long. When you are below it, you do not go long. I can do a video on this in the future, but I don't want to overwhelm you guys, so let's just focus on Bitcoin and Ethereum and what this means for price action. The cloud works as resistance, and when you are in the cloud, you generally don't want to trade either. But you can see here, ran into resistance there. It will most likely run into resistance again here. See how thick the cloud is? That is a lot of resistance ahead. See how thin the cloud was when we fell through? So in my opinion, price action will probably push down from here. So if we come over here to the weekly for Bitcoin, the weekly for Bitcoin is something to keep checking up on, especially on this cloud. This is a thin cloud, and we are approaching it probably by early August. This leaves room for price action a little bit, though. So if price action could drop to about 28,000 here and spring up. But this is something I'm kind of keeping an eye on, because I would imagine there would be some level of support here. So 28,000 could be the target for another Bitcoin dip before a rally. How high that rally could go might be capped off here around 4,500. It might then move down below the cloud, but this is something I check up on, and we will check up on daily on this channel. So as far as Bitcoin price action goes, I'm still setting the current target around 32,000. Let's just go back to the basic chart here, and then that being the case, same with, actually, let's take a quick look at Ethereum with the Kumo Cloud as well. You can see that it's running into resistance here, right? And it actually has not challenged the cloud yet, unlike Bitcoin, but this is a thick cloud, guys. And with the stochastic RSI so high, there is only so much room it can push. It can keep grinding. There could be some more sideways action, and as this cloud kind of thins out in mid-August, there could be room for a push up. But it's going to take a lot of volume and a lot of bullish pressure to push Bitcoin and Ethereum back into a bullish state, which would then carry the market. So for now, I'm still going under the premise that the market's going to move down a little bit. So it's important to be careful. Don't FOMO into anything, and just let price action come to you for the time being. So going back to the basic charts, my price targets for Bitcoin are still, we're going to watch it approach 32K in the coming days and see where it goes from there. But we will keep an eye on this RSI, because if at any point it spikes up or spikes down will invalidate one of these trends, either the downtrend or the uptrend. But for the time being, you can kind of see here, we're already kind of pressing up against it. So I'd imagine by tomorrow, we should see a bit of downwards movement again. If this uptrend is broken at any point, I would imagine a sharper move down. However, for the time being, 32K for Bitcoin, and we're looking at the first target for Ethereum to be 1987. So let's take a look at Cake, Pancake Swap. This is one of my favorite projects by far, guys. I've been holding Cake a long time. I stake my Cake. I will be looking to buy some more Cake on the dip. I think Cake has huge potential. I think their relationship with Binance, the fact that they are a decentralized exchange, there's so much overall potential with what Cake is, and I feel like that is the reason you see that Binance has taken such a shine to them, and there's a lot of investment behind them from what I understand, and I think Cake has a very bright future. And on top of that, putting all of that aside, Cake is not a bad place to get into DeFi. If you've had no exposure to DeFi, we are in a bit of a risk off market, so you generally don't want to dive too deep into any of the risky or unknown DeFi sites. If you do, there's always a chance of a rug pull, and you can stablecoin farm, which is something that is popular and something I do occasionally. However, the returns on stablecoin farming will always be low unless you're one of the first people into the farm, and those APRs drop pretty fast. You'll enter a farm where it's like 40-50% APR, and within a few days, all of a sudden that APR is like 7%. So just taking a look at the chart for Cake, stochastic RSI on the daily is insanely high. It's already running into a level of resistance here, I'd imagine. Yep. Let's look at the 4-hour chart real quick. Same deal up here. Stochastic RSI is high. It's got a bit of support that it could go towards. So in case there is a bullish push, that is still possible. I would look for price action to, if it can build a support, it's pulling back now, right? So it's going to hang on to this moving average. It's all about how it's going to react to 15. If it can start to build a support and we see it start to push up, if it starts to push up towards this price here, about 16.8, then it does have potential to push towards 19. So you'd want to watch to see how it goes in this range here and starts to push towards 16.8. However, how I think this will most likely go, considering the RSI sky high, but it is up on an uptrend. So I would watch those numbers as far as price action moving up, but my targets for Cake are going to be much lower. My targets for Cake, I would like to see it pull back. I'd imagine we see it pull back to, what is this price here? About 13.7 if we start to see some dumping tomorrow. And from there, I would look for, personally, I'm looking for an entry below 10, or no, below 11, closer to 10. I mean, this bottom down here was around 9.3. I think Cake can still come back down to this range, somewhere below $11. When that will be, I'm not sure, but that is most likely where I'll be waiting to pick up some Cake. If it comes down to about 11.9, which it definitely could, if Bitcoin approaches 32K, I'd imagine that would be its first target. Well, really, I mean, somewhere above there. It's more like it would go to somewhere in here, more likely, somewhere around 12. Yeah, around 12.50, I could imagine Cake pulling back to. But personally, because I am holding a lot of Cake, I would be looking more for these lower numbers. Anything under $12, I think, would be decent. But then all of that, again, depends on how Bitcoin moves over the next couple days. So I'll be keeping an eye on Cake. 11.9, anything under $12 would be great. If I see it under $10, however, that would be a great buy for Cake, in my opinion. Anywhere closer to $9 would be great. I think that's very possible considering what's going on with the market. And the thing that I like about a Cake is that you always get a bit of money back. I mean, even if you buy in and your investment goes down while staking it, you earn APR that you can trade to BUSD right away and lock in a little bit of money here or there. So I think there's long-term potential in Cake. Those are the price targets that I will be looking at. Let's just look at the Kumo Cloud real quick, guys, for Cake here. So you see that Cake is kind of moving in the same way. Look at the thickness of that cloud. That's why I don't want to get involved just yet. Again, I am holding a lot of cake. It's not about thinking it's a bad project, but I just feel that these prices at the moment with the state of the market are pretty high. So I would be looking for entries around closer to about $11. If possible, anything around $10 I think would be a great entry for cake. So we're going to look at AXS and SLP together since they are related. AXS is Axie Infinity's governance token, I believe, and SLP is the in-game currency that you earn and use. AXS you need for breeding Axies, from what I understand, as well as SLP. I think you need 4 AXS. I might be mistaken on this, but the bottom line is that they're both part of the in-game currency and ecosystem of Axie Infinity, and that is the reason they are having a massive run-up. In fact, if you look at most of the statistics for Axie Infinity, a lot of people who play the game have absolutely zero prior exposure to crypto. So that is the reason that this is moving separate from the market, and part of the reason I believe that's also helping Ethereum pump a bit, because you need Ethereum to buy Axies. So what is going on with Axie Infinity in terms of their in-game tokens, and what can we look at for price action? I personally might be looking to pick up some AXS, because you do need AXS for breeding Axies from what I understand. And if this price keeps pumping, that could be an issue down the road if I want to start breeding Axies. So what price targets can we look at for this parabolic move? It was $3 to begin with back here. So let's just move this out of the way, and then let's take a quick look at some price targets. So looking at the 4-hour chart, I mean, look at that RSI. This is not something you currently want to touch. Don't get me wrong. It always could keep pumping. But when the chart looks like this, it is now a gamble to get involved. So we're looking at the 4-hour chart here. There's a lot of lines of support it could always pull back to. How much it's going to pull back is the question, because this is an in-game token that is needed. I imagine as more of these play-to-earn games start to get rolling, we should start to see some of these prices vary as competition comes in. But I definitely would not be touching Axie at the price that it's at now. I would look for a pullback, and the price targets for me at the moment would be somewhere, I mean, ideally you'd want to it would come back down to 7. Let's look at the daily, and then let's look at the 4-hour and see what we're working with. I also want to show you guys the Kumo Cloud real quick before we even do that for Axie and SLP, so you see what I mean by how separate from the market this is moving. This is Axie. As you can see, it's a parabolic chart with very great indicators. Like, look, see how that yellow line is there, the blue line's there, the red line's there, and the Kumo Cloud is nowhere near being above it. When you compare that to Bitcoin back when it was in the bullish stage of this most recent bull run, you see that that's very similar. So when you look at AXS and you look at SLP, these are two charts in a very bullish daily pattern. They look great, but it's all about trying to find the right entries for these and not FOMOing into them. So taking a look at the 4-hour chart here, I mean, look at that RSI just kind of riding this area. I mean, this is still a very good looking chart, but I'd imagine it would start to pull back. Maybe the first targets would be more around here, to be honest. It wouldn't even kind of pull back since it's gone so high, sky high. $12 would be the initial bounce price that I would imagine. And then where it goes from there is all dictated on how this responds to Bitcoin, because there is no way of knowing for sure. I mean, there's no way of knowing for sure with anything, but there is no way of getting a somewhat accurate prediction here, because this is moving independently from the market at the moment. So if Bitcoin and Ethereum begins to dip, that does not necessarily mean that Axies will dip. It will have to pull back here, do not get me wrong, because this is not a healthy chart when it shoots up like that. It will have to correct a little bit before pushing back higher. But where it goes from there, I'm going to be looking at the targets to see how it bounces around here. So how it bounces around 12.8 would be the first target I'll watch, and then from there I'll hope that it pulls back down to 11.2, where it has quite a bit of support. So 11.2 is actually more likely where it's going to land off this giant push. That is, unless it just keeps ripping, and there is no reason that it can't keep doing that. However, most likely 11.2 would be the first target price for Axie. Below that, $9 is not a bad support, but I would look more for 8.87. If it is affected by Bitcoin in any way, I would kind of look for this range here between $9 to about, what is this? $9 to about $11. So somewhere between $9 to $11, if it's going to be affected by Bitcoin, is the range that I would look for. But this and SLP are worth keeping an eye on. SLP being the in-game currency for Axies. So it does have a bit of a cap on price here, I believe. Let's take a look. So SLP is kind of pushing right against resistance. So I'd imagine that's on the 4-hour. How's it looking on the daily? Yeah, I mean, on the daily, it's just shot straight up. SLP, I'm not too interested in to pick up because it is the in-game currency. So it is what you earn playing the game, and it is what you sell from playing the game. And you can sell that directly into USDC or DAI or USDT, whatever your stablecoin of preference is. And that's just money you put in your pocket for playing this play-to-earn game. So SLP, we're not going to spend too much time on this chart. It looks like it's kind of capped off around 24 cents. If it pushes above there, that would be worth keeping an eye on. You know, it could spike up to about 34 cents here, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I think most of these play-to-earn games are trying to create some form of stability with their in-game currency so it doesn't get too crazy. However, SLP, I would imagine it's going to pull back down to 16 cents, which seems to be kind of its sweet spot between 12 to 16 cents. Axies, on the other hand, this is a very interesting token that sky's the limit. I mean, let's look at the 1-day chart and see how high this could go. Sorry about all these notes here. So yeah, I mean, it's pushing an all-time high. I would look for this range. 11.2 is where we are going to set the target for Axie at the moment. So 11.2, between $9 to $11 is where I'll be keeping an eye on Axie. I'm not going to rush into an entry, but there's a lot of potential with this project. And overall, there's a lot of potential with play-to-earn NFT games. So $9 to $11 is kind of the range I'm going to be watching for Axie. If it takes off from there, I will also keep an eye on it. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out. I hoped some of the content was useful information for you guys. If you guys are new, please do hit the subscribe button. Please do leave a like and a comment. Any interaction with the channel helps the channel grow, which allows me to open up more free time to do this. My goal for now is to maintain 1 new upload a day. However, I would like to be able to do 2 uploads a day because I think it'd be very beneficial to look at the charts in the morning and in the evening, which would give a better lay of the land considering this is a 24-hour market. All the links are down below for the Axie in the Philippines video that I talked about earlier. That is definitely worth watching. In the future, we'll definitely do a video on all the play-to-earn NFT games because I am involved in a lot of them as I have been for a few months now. Again, guys, I appreciate you guys. If you guys aren't following me on Twitter, KevinCrates_. And thanks for hanging out, guys. I'm out.